The number one question I get from people is, why would you want to be governor of Michigan? And there are really three reasons. Number one, we're an economic disaster. We're losing 1 million jobs this decade. We have a family moving out every 12 minutes. And in your world, I've seen the numbers. And I don't think people understand it well enough that compared to the auto industry, you've had an even tougher time. Having single-family permits go down from over 40,000 to below 10,000. That's a bigger drop than the drop in automotive production. The second reason, we have a fundamental lack of leadership in Lansing. We don't have a vision. People are not working together. We have a broken system. And the third reason is a fundamental belief on my part that career politicians are not the answer. I think we need people from the outside, from the real world, to bring common sense to bear and bring real answers to people and a real direction to this state. Now, the second issue I'm going to bring up, the second question, what are the big issues this year in this election? They really boil down to two, and they dominate all the other issues on the table. By far, the number one issue is the need for more and better jobs in this state. The second piece that goes with it is related to that, and I think very close to that, and it's close to my heart. And it's about keeping our young people here. We're losing our young people at a truly alarming rate. I have 3 children, 2 in college. I'm afraid they're not going to have an opportunity to stay in our state. And I know many of you probably have similar feelings or have already seen family members have to move out of state. And we want to get those people back when we can. The third thing, though, third question that comes up is, well, what are you going to do about it? Because it's one thing to talk about issues and problems. It's another to talk about what's the solution. Well, I'm bringing a framework that's worked for me over and over again in my life about when you have a problem, when you have a real serious issue or a crisis, this is how you handle it. This is how you take it on and how you make results happen. And I'm going to walk you through those steps. And I bet they're familiar to many of you. Because most of you are small business people. You've started your organizations. How many people actually were the founders of the organization you're in? Well, then these steps will sound very familiar. You may not put them in the same terms, but I bet in your heart, if you look back, you did the very same things. And it's straightforward. When you have a disaster, what do you need to do? You need to establish a clear, positive vision of where you want to go. Second, you put a plan in place to say, how do I go from the disaster to the vision? And third, you make real results happen. It's that straightforward. Let me walk through each one of those steps. First, the vision piece. Again, we have point A, the disaster. Where is point B? We need a common vision in the state of where we're headed, that we're all on board with, that we're excited about. Well, in my view, it's time for a new era in Michigan. I call it the era of innovation. Another name I use is Michigan 3.0. Why do I use the term Michigan 3.0? Well, there have been 2 eras in Michigan's history, in my view. We had the natural resources era, Michigan 1.0, the 1800s. Fur, mining, timber. Most people don't know the first multi-millionaire in the United States was in Michigan, up around Mackinac Island. Michigan 2.0 was the industrial era, the 1900s. I also call it our bipolar period, because there are 2 distinct elements to it. The first half is one of the most exciting revolutionary periods in the world for any geography. We led the world in entrepreneurship and innovation, and it just wasn't autos. It was in autos, it was in cereal, it was in furniture, it was in chemicals, it was in multiple industries. We were so successful, we literally helped create the American middle class, starting in our home state, right here. Now the issue was, in many respects, is we were too successful. And we changed our attitude from that innovation attitude to the maintenance attitude. How do we maintain what we have? How do we sort of protect what we have? And we didn't reinvent ourselves. And we were responsible at all different levels. All different peoples did their part. Again, there were some good entrepreneurs still working away, but too often people got too complacent, too content. If you happen to be working in a plant, quite often you said, hey, I've got a vacation home up north, I've got 2 cars, I've got a nice lifestyle, And my children, I'm going to get them a job in the plant. If you were the CEO running a big company, what'd they do? They said, now I'm in charge of this company. I've got about 5 years to retirement. And my role now is to make sure I don't screw it up before I pass it on to someone else. Neither one of those models work, folks. We learned that the hard way. We've been declining for quite a while, with an accelerating curve over the last few years. So my view is, instead of putting Band-Aids on a broken era, an era that we should be proud of, we should respect, we should learn from, but we should also put it away and start a new era, this new era of innovation. Now, what does the era of innovation look like? There are 3 key pillars. The first pillar is economic. We need a globally diverse, competitive economy offering increasing prosperity to our families. Second pillar is quality of life. The first part is about one of the great assets that we have that really makes us unique, and that's our natural resources. This is a fabulous state to live in from quality of life perspective. We're going to have to work harder to protect those assets, see what's going on with the carp today, to enhance them, to market them. And we're actually terrible at marketing. I like to make a special point on that one. Think about this. Minnesota gets away with 10,000 lakes. We have the Great Lakes and 11,000 lakes. Come on now, people. We got to market better. Now, the second piece of quality of life is something that has been going on for years, but we haven't been successful at. And that's restoring our central cities. And many people have different feelings depending on where you live in the state. But to be blunt, for Michigan to be a great state, we need Detroit to be on the path to being a great city again. We need to bring back our other central cities. We need to create an environment that's exciting, vibrant, because that's partially what our young people are looking for. Now, the third element is about our young people. The third pillar. We have to have an environment where not only they want to stay, but they can stay because there's opportunity and they can have an exciting life and career. So that's the era. That's the vision I have for Michigan. Now, to get from point A to point B, as I said, you need a plan. I put out a 10-point plan. It's on our website, rickformichigan.com. A lot of information. I carry it around on a nice little card, 10 points. I'm not going to go through all 10 because you'd fall asleep on me. But I am going to cover a couple of them. Number 1 on that list is the more and better jobs point. Now, how do you do more and better jobs? Well, the role of government is not to create jobs. The role of government is to create an environment where jobs can flourish. A couple key levers to that. First of all, on the tax front, we need to reform our tax system in this state. The Michigan business tax is the worst tax in the United States. It simply needs to be eliminated. I like to say, I was a tax professional starting my career back in the 80s. I worked on the single business tax. When they went out and did the Michigan business tax 2 or 3 years ago, I like to say they went to the video store and rented Dumb and Dumber. It's a fundamentally unfair tax. So I've already put a proposal out there to say eliminate it, replace it, and for regular corporations what there would be is a simple flat rate 6% income tax that you could do the tax return on the back of a business card. Federal taxable income times 6%, get a number, write a check, go run your business.